Hello, hello. It's me, Angel Benton, and it is time for another edition of Dancing for Relevancy. I'm super excited about that. Here's the thing. I'm actually off of work until 2019, which is, I'm so excited about that. I'm thrilled. It's great. You know, adios. So that's why I'm actually back to doing my show. It's kind of like 11:30 in the morning, so it should be around 7:30 in England. So hopefully, if any of my English friends can catch this, that would be greatly appreciated. But if they can, I understand. So here's the thing. I say that a lot, don't I? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah. So, okay. Um, I was able to get my Christmas tree up last week. That was great. It's really cool. It's very technologically advanced. It's got a fierce little light show display that I am loving. But let me tell you something. It was such a bitch to get up. Like, I'm not even joking you. I swear to God, I was like, okay, this is staying up all year round. I know that is white trash as fuck, but I don't care. This took me forever to do, so yeah, you're staying up. Period. The end of it. Copyright Danny Roberts from Real World New Orleans. Okay, so as you know, well, let's talk a little bit about Dancing with the Stars. Just because we need to tie it into our American viewers, since most of my viewers are in America. And there's actually, I'm not talking about any American shows now because both Dancing with the Stars and Dancing with the Stars Juniors is over. There was a little bit of controversy. Well, first of all, Alexis and Alan have said that they've broken up. I mean, did anybody see that coming? I mean, come on. The phony showmance was ridiculous. I'm sorry. It was... nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. So just want to point that out. Val and Artem and Alan... No, Gleb and Artem and Alan are on tour, and they did a cute little Instagram video of them on these like weird. They're driving around some mall. Okay, so here's what's weird: is they're driving around some mall, which okay, that's fine, you know. I get it, Christmas shopping, you know, but there's like nobody there. So that makes me really kind of a little bit worried about, you know, brick and mortar establishments because a lot of people are just shopping online, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, you know, not to get too far off topic, but if you think about it, if people aren't going into stores and the stores end up closing, you think, oh, well, now these people don't have jobs. Yeah, but think of all the people that are delivery people that get jobs now. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime technology comes away, I know people are very anti-technology and change, and I understand that, but if you really think about it, it's actually not that difficult. I mean, for example, in fast food shops, in fast food places, they're having kiosk ordering, which means that they don't need as many employees. So you're thinking, okay, well, these people don't have jobs. But you got to think, okay, well, these people that create the kiosks, that service the kiosks, I mean, like, it's a whole, and I guarantee you they make a lot more money than someone behind the counter as a cashier. So, you know, I'm not one of those anti-technology or anti-change people, you know. If it's technology, I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this because we wouldn't have cell phones, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So anyways, with Dancing with the Stars Juniors, Bobby Bones, I think he left some Twitter comment for Sky and JT, and he said, oh, I'm just coming on this page to see all the hate for me, America's favorite winner. Congrats, Sky and JT. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Bobby Bones. Okay, he won. Did I vote for him? I certainly did not. You know what's funny is that, I was with my family in Oklahoma when he won, and they're pretty conservative, but even they were like, no way. Like, because you picture Bobby Bones's people to be like, country people, like my family in Oklahoma, and they were just mortified that he won. Like, they thought that was so ridiculous, and I was like, you're right, it's awful. So anyways, but he won. Okay, that's great. Now, I'm sure he was probably kidding. I don't think he was meant to be a dick. But when you go online and you leave a comment saying that, oh, I'm the people's winner, I just want to see all the hate being thrown at me. Congrats, Sky and JT. Like, it isn't about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about you, Bobby. It isn't. It's not. We're done talking about you. We're talking about JT and Sky and how thrilled we are for them and Team Allen. Like, they deserve to win. So, yeah, and I just felt like he wasn't doing himself any favors. And here's the other thing. He posted a photo of him and Joe Amabile, which, again, that just blows my mind that like, don't get me wrong. Bobby Bones, I don't think he should have won, but he was better than Joe Amabile. If Joe Amabile would have been one, that would have been, like, ridiculous, right? So, okay. So he posted some photo of the two of them, and he was like, it's America's two favorite champion dancers. And I'm thinking, that's probably a joke. It's probably sarcasm, probably tongue-in-cheek humor. But the timing of it, it's just not good optics. Really. It just makes you look like a dick. And I don't think he's a dick. First of all, I want to say this too. As irritated as I am that he won, I'm not irritated that Sharna won, because Sharna is fantastic, and she should have won this actually when she was partnered with James Hinchcliffe. No, nothing against Lori and Val, but A, Val had already won before with Rimmer Willis, and B, she was a gymnast. She knew pretty much how to dance before, and he was just a race car driver. So he had a lot more, and he is phenomenal. So I think she should have won with that. So I don't begrudge her the mirror ball at all. Do I think it's unfortunate that she's got the mirror ball with Bobby Bones, who is such a polarizing figure? Yeah, I do think that's kind of sad, but hopefully it's just the first of many mirror balls for her. Well, okay, so let's talk about that. I don't know if there will be many mirror balls. So it was announced after the fiasco that was this season that there will not be a Dancing with the Stars in the springtime, because they were going back and forth about whether they would have the show again for another season, and they said no, it's not coming back till next fall. Okay. Here's the thing about that. I'm okay with that. But that means if they're going to wait until next fall, then they need to commit to having a full season. You know what I'm saying? Not just this little shitty half season that we had this year. I mean, it was a little bit ridiculous. Like, a couple weeks after we start, we're already at the finals. And now it's not as bad as Dancing with the Stars athletes, because that was only for a month, and I can't believe that was. But good for Adam Rippon and for Jenna. And people were saying online that Jenna doesn't deserve anything because she's not a good teacher choreographer. She was the reigning champion before Sharna, and nobody thought that Adam didn't deserve it. So, just saying. And back to Sharna, I felt like if she had danced with, if my little sister, well, no, that's not a good example. So if I met the homeless guy on the corner and he had more fans than anyone else in the competition, it doesn't matter who's teaching him. Like, it doesn't really matter, So, and yeah, okay. It gets me a little bit heated. So I'm sure it'll come back for season 29, I think. Or maybe 28. I don't know. I don't even know what season it is. I don't have my iPad with that information on there. But here's the thing. Sorry. Excuse me. And I'm going to try to stop saying here's the thing. Okay, so next season, they'll probably do something. Hopefully, they'll at least stretch out the season a little bit, make it last a little longer. And hopefully, they will do a little bit of revamping to the rules because they do that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, they'll be like, okay, the judges each get one save. Um, you only get to vote if you're in the ballroom, or no internet votes count at all, only telephone votes. You know, whatever they do, they need to do some sort of change up of the rules, right? Because people are pissed off. But here is I have an idea. I have an idea for the upcoming show, the next season. So the next season, whether it be in 2 springs from now or in 2 falls from now, I think they need to do another. They need to take a page out of RuPaul's book and do another All-Stars season. Because they did one with Melissa Rycroft where she won with Tony Dovolani. And good for Tony because, you know, that was his only shot at winning. And let's keep it real. I don't know why they made him the old lady whisperer. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some Nancy O'Dell. She is phenomenal. But there is a vast difference between Nancy O'Dell and Melissa Rycroft. And because Nancy got injured, that's when they brought Melissa in. And that's how Tony was able to win. So I'm very grateful for that. But the focus that season was mostly on past champions. They did have some people that weren't champions, but mostly it was past champions. So that's fine. But I want to see, just like they do on RuPaul's Drag Race. And if you haven't ever watched RuPaul's Drag Race, you should. It is amazing. So what's interesting is that they pull people who haven't won, well, for the most part, who haven't won the crown. So they give them a second opportunity, sometimes a third or a fourth, right? So last All-Stars 3, they did have Bibi Zahara Benet, who was the first winner, but she didn't win All Stars, which is good because I think if she did, she would. And actually, that's on for another. That's something else. We'll talk about that when I do my RuPaul's Drag Race recap because they're in the middle of their All Stars 4 right now, so we'll discuss that later. But they need to pull back people from Dancing with the Stars who have not quite won but deserve to win. So I say they bring back Milo Manheim. I say they bring back Juan Pablo Di Pace. I say they bring back James Hinchcliffe. I say they bring back Nick Carter. I say, you know, Ricky Lake. I definitely think they need to bring back a lot of their great, even Mary Lou Henner. You know, they need to bring back a bunch of people that had not won and give them another chance. And then, so here's the thing. Then, because they're not winners, don't have any sort of advantage. And also, because they've gone through the show before, the dancing is going to be better. You know what I mean? Like, they're, to quote RuPaul, and this might be a little crude, so apologies if you think it's crude, but they've all stepped their pussy up at that point. You know what I mean? So, anyways. So, that's what I think that they need to do with Dancing with the Stars. I definitely think that they need... and here's another thing. You know, Alfonso Ribeiro, who won, I think, like 3 seasons ago with Whitney, he was talking about how, first of all, how upset he was that Juan Pablo, this was before we even finished the series, and he was like, I can't believe Juan Pablo got eliminated. And he was like, you know, it needs to be like it is in England, where they have 2 shows, and the second show they announce the 2 people in the bottom, and then they do a dance-off, and the judges decide who they get to keep. So we'll discuss it. So just keep that in the back of your mind when we talk about Strictly Come Dancing, which is the British version of Dancing with the Stars. We'll talk about that in a second because this is going to come back up. So I definitely think that ABC needs to do it that way. I mean, at least have a 2-night-a-week show. You know, because the 1-night-a-week show is not good. I mean, it's okay, but it's not as good as it should be. So, yeah. Okay. So now let's hop over the pond, and FYI, for a programming note. So next week, I'm going to be doing I'm going to do a show about the Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special because they're doing a special on Christmas for Strictly. So that I can't wait to see that. I've never seen that. They certainly don't do that with Dancing with the Stars. You know, with Dancing with the Stars, they always do like a holiday, like, you know, a themed show, like, you know, either the big finale at the Grove or, you know, in the case of juniors, they did all these Christmas numbers, you know, and that's fine. That's great. But this is like this isn't a competition. This is just a dance special about Christmas. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it. Okay. So yeah, so that's next week, and then after that, I think I might take a couple weeks off until well, I'm not thinking. I'm going to take a couple weeks off until Dancing with the Stars Ireland starts. And this will be great because honestly, with Dancing with the Stars Ireland, excuse me, with Dancing with the Stars Ireland, I don't know any of the contenders. I don't know any of the judges. I don't know any of the hosts. And I don't know any of the pros. Except maybe Tristan McManus. But I don't know if he's even still on the show anymore. But we'll find out. So I'm seriously coming into this one totally as... I'm totally watching it as just fresh eyes. Like, unbiased. Whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to lie, whether it's England or America, you know, you have your favorites that you root for, right? Now, I might develop some favorites in Ireland, but I'm telling you right now that no one is, I'm not starting the competition with any sort of bias, so that'll be good. So it'll be curious. I'm very interested to see how that will go. All right. Okay, so Strictly Come Dancing. So I was very excited about this week because it was the finale, obviously, and as someone who's invested, you for the past 16 weeks and seeing, you know, past 4 months to see how it's going, you want to know, right? So I was very curious to see, and first of all, I was curious because I was curious to see how it would be different from America's version. Or if there were any differences or whatever. I'm sorry, I just shaved and that's why I'm like scratching my neck because it's a little bit itchy because I just shaved. Okay. So we have our 4 finalists. The 4 finalists are Ashley Roberts from the Pussycat Dolls, Faye Tozer from Steps, Stacey Dooley, who's a BBC documentarian, and Joe Sugg, who is a YouTube personality. And Ashley's partner is Pasha Kovalev, who you might know from So You Think You Can Dance. Faye's is Giovanni Pernice, who is like the total British version of Alan, except he's Italian. Giovanni's Italian, but he's totally like the UK's version. He just reminds me of Alan. And then there is Stacey's partner is Kevin Clifton, who kind of reminds me a little bit of Derek Huff, to be honest with you. And then there is, Diane Buswell. So what's interesting about Diane is she looks just like Sharna. Like they must dye their hair the exact same color. And what's funny is that Joe Sugg on like week 1, he told Diane, he's like, look, and he said it on camera, so we had to keep his word. He said, if you get me to the finals, I'll dye my hair your color. So he did. He didn't look half bad actually with red hair. Actually, he didn't look bad at all. So, yeah. Okay, so now one of the big things that I was curious about was if they do freestyles. Well, they do. So that's good. Except in England, they don't call them freestyles. They're called show dances. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Whatever you want to call it, as long as the format's the same, I'm down, right? So this week was the big finale week, and they had all the stars come back. You know, that's what they always do for all these shows, right? But everyone had to learn 3 dances. Well, not learn, they had to perform 3 dances. They did a show dance, and then they did 2 previous dances that they've done. Now, one is selected by the judges, and one is selected by them. They get to pick when they want to reprise. So they've got 3 numbers to perform, okay? Okay, so the first couple up was Stacy and Kevin, and they did a Charleston. They did their Charleston to 5'2" Eyes of Blue. You know, they did improve it a little bit, and they got a 39 because, you know, Craig doesn't like to part with that 10 that 10 paddle. But, you know, I thought they did great. I mean, I loved their Charleston. I thought it was very cute. I have to give England props for the Charlestons, because the Charlestons that they do in England are way better than the ones they do in the United States. Like the ones they do here in the U.S., it's almost, which is funny because Charleston is an American dance. So that's kind of weird that in America they don't really know what to do with it, but in England. But here's another thing too. Now, I don't know if they do this at Dancing with the Stars or not, but it's strictly they have the ability to go to an outside choreographer for the Charleston. So what's interesting, and that might be it. Maybe they might not do that in America, and that's why they don't come out so good, because none of them are that experienced with Charleston. But I loved it. I thought they did a really good job. Then it was time for Joe and Diane. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. I need to stop. I was looking at the wrong week. So, okay, let's go back. Sorry. So, Stacy and Kevin didn't do a Charleston. That was the semifinal. Sorry. Oops, my bad. Okay, so here's the thing. Ashley and Pasha, they started the show off, and they did a salsa to I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing. That was selected by the judges. Now, okay, having seen this done a few times, right? This was the best I've seen it done. No offense to Bindi Irwin and Derek Huff, but this was done the best. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great. It's just so, I don't want to say cliche or even predictable, but it was just, it was, despite the fact that it was the best version of that song I've ever seen performed, it was still kind of meh, you know, whatever. Then there was Stacy and Kevin. Oh, and they did get a 40 for it, though. They got a 40. Ashley and Pasha got a 40, okay? And then Stacy and Kevin did a foxtrot to Hi-Ho Silver Lining by Jeff Beck, and I don't know who selected it. And I don't know what... I mean, there's so many great dances that they did this past season, like that Charleston I was just talking about, or like... what else did they do that was so cool? They did... Oh, yeah, the foxtrot was, it started off with him on a little motor buggy, and she was in the sidecar, and they were coming from Grimsby. Now, a lot of this is like inside jokes and stuff that I don't really get because I'm from America, but I think he's from this town called Grimsby. I thought she was from Grimsby, but apparently he's from Grimsby. I don't know. Because after the show ended, they showed a picture of him in Grimsby. And I was like, oh, is that why they made such a big deal about Grimsby? Because they did this during Blackpool Week, and no, they didn't. They did it right before Blackpool Week, and I'm going, why Grimsby? I don't get it. It's not even a place I've ever even heard of. So, of course, now, you know, I'm going to be all Wikipediaing and Googling, you know, Grimsby to find out what's going on there. But they were okay. They did fine. And like I said, they got a 39 because Craig doesn't like to give up that 10 paddle. Then there was Faye and Giovanni. Now, let's keep it real. I wanted Faye to win. That's the only reason I'm even watching Strictly's, because I'm a Steps fan. And I really wanted to see her win, right? Now, one thing that they did that the judges requested, which is great because I would have said the exact same thing, they requested that they do the Viennese waltz to It's a Man's World. And it was fantastic. It was just as good the second time around. And they got a 40 as well. I mean, it was so good. So I really loved that. I'm so glad that they had them do that dance again because it was really fierce. And, you know, a lot of people are all talking about what their favorite dances of Faye's were. And they were saying, oh, you know, I love the quick step, or I love their jazz routine, or I love their Charleston. I love their Charleston. It was so cute and unexpected. It was really great. And Giovanni doesn't look half bad as a blonde, just saying. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. They have a lot of dances to pick from. But, okay, so then there was Joe and Diane. And they did their Paso Doble to Pompeii by Bastille. And, you know, okay, Joe, as opposed to Stacy and Kevin or Faye and Giovanni, Joe doesn't have that many standout, fantastic dances that he's done. Maybe, you know, the only one I would have maybe thought would have been his salsa to Mbop, just because I love that song and I thought it was pretty cute, you know. But other than that, you know, it wasn't that, nothing else that he did was super impressive. So the judges, they chose the Paso Doble because they wanted to see some improvement. And they did get a 39. Again, because Craig doesn't like to part with that 10 paddle. So as of now, we've got 4 couples that, and what's hilarious is that Diane was talking on, she was talking on some sort of, what was she talking about? She was talking about, on YouTube, she was talking about backstage at the show, and she was talking about, yeah, we're doing Bastille Pompeii. And they're like, no, we're doing Pompeii. So it was just really cute. But anyways, so then it was time for the show dances. Now this was exciting because we got to see their creativity. Now here's the thing. Oh, God, I keep saying that. Okay, so I don't know necessarily if this was the best way for the stars. I don't think that we saw a lot of the stars' creativity. I think we saw a lot of the pros' creativity. And don't get me wrong, if the star doesn't really bring anything to the table creatively, then you've got to give a lot, right? So it's always nice, though, when they have a hand in the creative, right? And we saw that on Dancing with the Stars Juniors when they had Junior's Choice, which wasn't even their freestyle, which the freestyles were great, but they just got to choose whatever style they wanted to do. And even though they didn't have a lot of leeway with the choreography, they decided what costumes to wear, what the lighting's going to be, what set pieces are going to use, who's going to be in the number. Like, they got to spread their wings, and I thought it was great. I didn't get that so much from England with their show dances. I didn't. Some of them were great, but I just didn't. So Ashley and Pasha did a show dance to Keeping Your Head Up by Birdie. And again, they got a 40. Okay, 40. So right now they're got a perfect score. Then after that, Stacy and Kevin did a show dance to Land of a Thousand Dances, you know, na 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 na, right? And it was cute. It was cute, and it was very fun to watch. I don't necessarily know if it was that great of a show dance, though. Like, there was a lot of prop changes and set changes and, you know, a lot of movement going from one place to another, but not a lot of dancing. So in terms of the show dance, I mean, I was slightly disappointed just because I don't think there was that much to it. But I will say, if there isn't going to be that much to it, at least that they were able to distract the audience from thinking that there isn't much to it because they've got so much other things going on. You know what I mean? So The judges unfortunately agreed with me, and they got a 36. So Craig gave them an 8. And then Darcy and Shirley both gave them 9s. Now Bruno gave them a 10, but you know, they're not doing too hot. They got a 39 the first number, 36 the second number. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I love, oh God, I need to stop saying that. I love Kevin. I think he is so cute. I'm not going to lie. I think he's really attractive. He's very cute. Okay. And you know what I love about him the most is that he's very much into, like, he was such a good partner to Stacy, and you know, and he was so grateful. I mean, everything about him is just fantastic. I love him. He's great. Okay, so then there was Faye Giovanni, and they did a show dance. So, okay, now here's the difference. Faye and Giovanni also did a show dance that had a lot going on. They did The Lullaby of Broadway from 42nd Street. Come on along and listen to, you know, and they had a lot of sets and pyro, and they had a lot of stuff going on, which made for great pictures. If you can see any of the stills from Faye and Giovanni show dance, it is pretty awesome. It's really incredible. But they also, and this is where Stacy and Kevin sort of fell flat, was that they had a lot of content in addition to the sets and stuff, you know, whereas the Stacy and Kevin, the sets was kind of the focal point, whereas it was more of an enhancement with Faye and Giovanni. And I thought and the judges totally were impressed as well, because they gave them another perfect score of 40. So right now, Ashley and Faye are neck and neck. So then we have Joe and Diane, and they did a show dance to I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor by the Arctic Monkeys. And it was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't awful. He got all his steps. But it wasn't anything... I mean, if I had to pick a winner just on the show dances alone, I would have picked Faye and Giovanni, and not because I was a Faye fan beforehand, but just because she had everything in her routine. Stacey and Kevin would have come a close second. I mean, yeah, and Ashley and Pasha, I grouped them with Joe and Diane, but they got a 39 because, you know, Craig doesn't like to give up that 10 paddle, so they only got 39. Okay, that's fine. So now we're going into the last round. So we've got Faye and Ashley tied at the top, followed by Joe, and then Stacy and Kevin. So then they got to pick a dance of their own that they wanted to do. So Ashley and Pasha did their Charleston to Witch Doctor, and I mean, it was cute. It was okay, you know, and they got another perfect score. So they have, at this point in the night, they have aced the competition. They have got 3 perfect 40s, right? Now, after that, they had Stacy and Kevin. And Stacy and Kevin did the Paso Doble, or as Stacy calls it, the Paso Dooley, because her name's Stacy Dooley, it's cute, to Malagueña by Brian Setzer. And so if you watch any of the YouTube... Oh, first of all, I need to tell all my American friends out there, if you want to catch any clips of Strictly Come Dancing, you can actually watch them on American version of YouTube. There's two accounts you need to follow. One is, which one is it? One is called like BBC Strictly or Strictly Come Dancing or BBC Strictly Come Dancing. Just look up that. And then the other one is BBC It Takes Two Strictly Come Dancing. Follow those channels, because It Takes Two, you'll see the entire show as it airs. You just won't see it in real time. You know, you can't vote. But the other, they break them up into clips, and you also get to see like backstage clips, or even they did they had one with all the contenders doing Baby Shark. Oh, it was so cute. That was cute. That was really cute. Okay, anyways. Okay, so Stacy and Kevin. So if you have been watching the clips at all, you'll see people saying, "Oh my God, Stacy Dooley is dancing with her fanny out." Okay, first of all, in England, fanny is what they call pussy or vagina. A fanny. That's what they. So like so here in America, we have, fanny packs. That just kills people in England. They think it's hilarious, right? It's kind of like how in Chinese, chin chin is what you say, cheers. Cheers, chin chin. But in Japanese, it's the way little kids refer to their penis. They call it a chin chin. So one time my Japanese friends, I know I'm straying off topic a little bit, but whatever. It's a live stream. I don't care. If you have any issues, you can let me know in the comments. But when I had these two Japanese friends, Yumiko and Mika, shout out to you guys if you're even watching this. But I don't think too many of my Japanese fans watch my live streams, but that's okay because there isn't really anything that they can, follow along about. So, but they came out to visit me once, and I took them to Chin Chin is actually a very famous Chinese restaurant here. They have one in Vegas. They have a couple of them in LA. And so we went to Chin Chin, and they just thought it was the most hilarious thing, and they took pictures with the menu, and it was so cute. It was adorable. But yeah, that's kind of like how it is with Fanny, with the word Fanny in England. So they were saying that Stacey Dooley was dancing with her fanny out. Now, I have seen the video, and I've seen it paused up to the point that they thought that, it was her vagina. And I hate to break it to you, but it was flesh-colored panties. Now, she was flashing her panties, unfortunately. So, and I blame two people for this. One is costuming, because, with Paso Doble, the lady's dress is basically the cape, because the Paso Doble is kind of like the guy is a bullfighter and the chick is a bull, but her dress is the cape. I don't know, but the guy might also have a cape, whatever. But she's doing a lot of stuff with her dress. So first of all, the fact that it didn't come down enough that if she's doing it with her dress that you can see her underwear, which everyone thought was her vagina, that's a misstep on the step of costuming. But then on the other hand, on Stacey's, she holds a little bit of the blame because she was going a little bit too crazy, and as a star, say something to costuming. Say, I need you to cover my vagina. You know what? You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that one time when, do you remember when Britney Spears was doing the Christmas tour and she had just started, and the Christmas tour. Did I say Christmas tour? The circus tour. She just started the circus tour. But one time she said, "Merry Christmas, y'all." And it was like July. And they were like, what? What the fuck? And then another time she was talking about her mic was hot. She was backstage and she's like, "My pussy was hanging out. My pussy is just hanging out, y'all." So then from that point forward, we referred to the circus tour as the "My Pussy's Hanging Out" Christmas tour of Britney Spears. That's why I called it the Christmas tour just now. It's so funny. Anyways. So whatever, their Paso Doble was actually great. In spite of the fact that a lot of people thought they could see her vagina, which they couldn't, but I mean, they could see her flesh-colored panties, and it's unfortunate, but whatever. I thought they did great. They ended up getting, again, 39. So they didn't get a 40 this entire finale. But they were really good. And then there was Faye and Giovanni, and they wanted to do their jazz routine. Their jazz routine was just as flawless now as it was when they first did it. So they got another 40. I mean, they did it Feed to Fever from Peggy Lee. But here's what's unfortunate. Now, this was, when they did their jazz routine, they kind of had this the first time, they kind of had this like a Day of the Dead type makeup. And with this version, they had the exact same costuming, but they didn't have that makeup. So I don't know if I would have, it's a great dance, and it's a great dance for Faye, but I mean, it was a big risk to pick a number that they couldn't do as well. First of all, it's a big risk to pick a number that they got a 40 on the first time, right? It's a second big risk to do it when you don't have all of the stuff that you could do before, right? Yeah. So, anyways, but they did fine. They got another 40, which I would have chosen, honestly, if I was Faye. Well, so if I was Stacy and Kevin, let's go back to Stacy and Kevin real quick. If I was Stacy and Kevin, I might have picked their ooh ah just a little bit number instead of their the Grimsby thing, but maybe that's just because I'm American and I didn't get it. I kind of like their ooh ah just a little bit number a little bit better, or maybe even her very first quick step. That she did on day one, because she was the first person in the history of Strictly Come Dancing to do a quick step week 1. And she did it. She nailed it. So actually, you know what I would have chosen if I was Stacey and Kevin, now that I think about it? I would have chosen their Doctor Who number with Stacey as Doctor Who and Kevin as a Cyberman. And it was fucking incredible. It was so good. You need to look that shit up on YouTube and watch that, because that's incredible. It's so good. It really is. Okay, so, yeah. Okay, so then there's Faye. Now, if I was Faye and Giovanni, I would have picked, because they did already do the Viennese Waltz, which was great. And if they can't do Fever the exact same way that they did before, I would have chosen You're the One That I Want, their quick step as well. Because it would have, I think they would have had a slightly better shot. Or I would have chosen the Charleston to Lonely Goat Herd, because that was fucking hilarious. It was great. It was so awesome, and it was technologically fierce. So, not technically. It was technically fierce. Technologically fierce. Yeah, no, it was technically fierce. Okay, so then we had Joe, and they got a 40. So right now, Ashley and Pasha, Faye and Giovanni, they're tied. They've swept the finale. Then there's Joe and Diane, and I actually agree with the number he chose, because it's one of the signature numbers, and they did the Charleston to Cotton Eye Joe. And he was slightly better this second time, and he did get a 38, because Craig and Darcy gave him 9s, and then Shirley and Bruno gave him 10s. But, both Joe and Diane, as well as Stacey and Kevin, did not hit a single 40, right? So right now, looking at the leaderboard, you've got Faye and Ashley at the top. Underneath is Joe and Diane, and then underneath them is Stacey and Kevin. So what's interesting about England is that during that show, because England is a small country, it's not that big, right? It's about the size of California. That's one state. Because there aren't that many votes that they need to tally, they can actually just tell you who won right then and there, and they do at the end of the show. So there was not 2 shows the finale week, and that's something that, I didn't know how that was going to go, because, they have 2 shows every single week, except for the very first show where they announced the partners. And then every other show after that, they did 2 shows until the finale, when they just had 1. So they just had 1, and they announced the winners. Now, I'm sorry to say that Faye did not win. She actually came in 3rd, but she is phenomenal, and I'm going to do my best to go to England to see the Strictly tour, because she's going to be on the Strictly tour, so I kind of want to go see it. I'm definitely going to be going to go see Dancing with the Stars in Long Beach in March, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, I want to try and go see Strictly in England as well. Okay, so the winner was Stacey and Kevin. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people, once it was decided that she was the winner, England kind of a little bit got a taste of what we have been feeling here in America, and they were saying it's a fix. How can she get the lowest score and then win? And they tell you at the very beginning of the episode, they're like, look, the judges' scores will have no outcome at all on who stays or who goes or anything. It's 100% viewer votes. So she obviously had a lot of people in England that liked her. I love her. I love Kevin. And I think, and everyone was talking about how this is like Kevin's like fourth or fifth final, and that he finally deserves to win. And I'm glad for him. It's kind of like how I am with Sharna. Like, I'm glad Sharna won. Do I wish she had won it with someone else? Yes, but you know, maybe her and James can get chance number 2, All Stars. Just saying, just saying. So Ashley came in last and Joe and Diane came in second. And that actually a little bit surprises me because Joe has a massive YouTube fan base. And in fact, there were a bunch of accounts going around online telling people outside of the UK how they could vote on the show. Yes, how they could vote on the show. Sorry, my mom just texted me and I was like, what? Sorry. So I'm like, so people were pissed and the BBC were like, we can root it out. And if we see any votes like that, they're going to be disqualified. But now I am going to get technological. Speaking, they were using a VPN tunnel from whatever country they're in, and they're having it be in England. And the whole point of using a VPN tunnel is to mask where you're coming from. So if you want it to look like you're coming from England, you have the VPN tunnel open from England. If you want to look like you're coming from Japan, you have your VPN tunnel in Japan. You know what I mean? So I don't know exactly how the BBC would be able to disqualify those votes, to be honest with you, how they would even know. But he didn't win anyways. So, and what's funny is that, you know, the 2 people with internet, well, I mean, I guess 3, because Ashley too, but America didn't, let's be honest with you, America didn't really know who Ashley Roberts was anyways, really. But Faye, the gays know who Faye is, right? And as well as other people from other countries, shout out to you, Stephanie, they know who Faye is. So it's all about, you know, it's all about, we know how to vote, right? And how to get our votes counted. But we weren't making as big of a public deal of it as the Joe fans were. So, you know, they kind of ruined it for everyone. But like I said, I don't know how they could have figured that out. But so that was how they finished the show. Stacey and Kevin first, Joe and Diane second, Faye and Giovanni third, Ashley and Pasha came in fourth. And they all made it to the very end. So whether you win or not, you know, job well done to everyone involved in this production. They did a really good job. I cannot wait to see the Christmas special because we don't have anything like that in America. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. And that's pretty much it for this particular show. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to chat with me. Also, or to just listen to me talk, because, you know, I just love to talk. I love the sound of my own voice. So if you're in England, you can go enjoy your dinner now. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. And you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Angel Benton. Although, let's be real, I don't hardly ever use Snapchat. But I do use Twitter and Instagram. And you can find my page I have a professional page on Facebook, Angel Benton Pro. But I don't know... I haven't, I've got a pole dancing picture up there. It just kind of is a placeholder for now. I'll probably, but I don't know. I don't have the time to really devote to that. So follow me on YouTube at Angel Benton. You can click subscribe if you want to. And then once you click subscribe, you've got to hit the little notifications bell. And that'll tell you whenever I'm live like this. Or whenever I've uploaded a new video. So that'll let you know that as well. So anyways, thank you so much for logging on today. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Peace out. Wubba, wubba, wubba.